Caribbean International Shipping Services is your one-stop shop for shipping to the Caribbean. We offer weekly service from Atlanta to more than 21 countries in the Caribbean, including South and Central America. With agents in Alabama, Mississippi, North Carolina, South Carolina, and Tennessee, rest assured we've got the entire Southeast covered. Our professional staff is always ready to assist with all your international shipping needs. We ship small packages, barrels, appliances, electronics, and commercial cargo. For information, visit our website at caribshipatl.com or call 770-323-1111. We are your international freight connection to the Caribbean and beyond.
No matter who does what in this town, you always see the good in them. Like,
Lady Mars Bush is here.
These bottles are going to go down to 16 ounces.
But it's about what is our potential.
Right.
And our potential, we can take it up 2 notches.
You don't come across women who feel threatened by you.
that's their problem.
Showcasing the hidden gems and more. Ezzy Spotlight. Very informative and entertaining.
The Real Goddess is available on Amazon. Get your copy today.
What's up, guys? Welcome to a very special live podcast. Of course, I'm Ezzy, and my guest today is no stranger to the media radio business. You know, she's my good friend from a long time. We've been on the radio together, and she's been in my studio numerous times. Ladies and gentlemen, give her a round of applause to Joe Willa. What's up?
Hey, Ezzy, how are you? It has been a long time we known each other, my friend.
Absolutely. You know what? I was just I was recently going through some old pictures on social media. And saw one of the old pictures when we were in my old studio, but I didn't get a chance to see it. So, yeah, it's good memories though.
And you know what's crazy about this? For the first time, we're opposite dressed. You got on the winter clothes now, and I'm cool and breezy. So all is right with the universe.
This is not fair. You're supposed to be here.
I am not. I paid my dues.
Absolutely. So how you feeling today? How you doing?
I'm feeling fantastic. A little busy over here, but life is good, and we keep pressing, man. Looking forward to it.
Busy is good.
Busy is good, yes. When you're not busy is when you should be concerned.
Absolutely. So again, guys, if you're just joining us, make sure you share the stream, share the link, share everything with everybody right now, because we can talk about TNT's Carnival, guys. It's in full swing. I'm loving the music, Joe. I'm loving the groovy soca and all the good stuff.
Yeah, some good music is dropping. There's a little dissension about whether they get that radio play that they're always looking for, but I think that comes with every season. But the young guys are really coming up now. These young lions are pulling it together and ready to move up in the rankings, I think.
Absolutely. So what's the atmosphere like down there in TNT? Because for the folks who are watching us right now, Joe is actually in Trinidad and Tobago right now. So we're getting the full temperature for Carnival 2024 live and direct here on the Ezzy Spotlight. Joe, tell me, man, what's happening down there?
Well, Carnival is a season, so we kicked it off December 26th, and it's just gradually building. It's a short season, so we're only about 3 weeks out right now. Right. So now is the time everything is really going to start to bubble and turn over. Carnival Village in the Savannah opened last Friday night, so that kind of inches up the Carnival season a little more. Big fets are kind of happening. So yeah, it's the gradual growth of the energy. It's becoming electric.
I pay very close attention to all of the stuff that's happening down there. As a matter of fact, I saw a lot of videos from, I think there was an event called Experience.
Everybody's using the word experience now. You need a little more detail. That's like that was the key phrase, the hashtag experience. Everything is an experience.
I guess that's what it is. But yeah, there was a huge event where a lot of the big artists performed. I saw clips.
Was that CIC? Are you talking about CIC from Saturday night?
I think that's what it was.
The Saints?
Yeah, I think so. Where Faye and Lions and Patrice and Lyrical and everybody was on that stage.
Oh no, Experience was its own fete there. That was at Brian Lara Stadium.
Okay, so that was
a big fete. Yeah, that was on Saturday night. Yeah.
Okay, which one did you go to?
Saturday, I was in a Calypso theater getting my culture on because, Carnival is more than just mass and fets.
Right.
So I was hanging with the my elders in the Calypso theaters this past weekend. But I'll be back to Fat Life coming this weekend.
I,
So I
I got you.
Carnival Village, which was real nice and groovy to see. They had a Kaiso tent and a Kaiso house, and just to see, the artists introduce their music publicly pretty much for the first time in a free setting. The Carnival Village is free, so that's always great that people can come out and experience parts of Carnival without having to spend a lot of money.
Oh, we always love the free stuff. I mean, come on now. I mean, shout out to Sarah Lee. She's on the chat. Of course, she says no. There was a 3 was the Fed in the South. Okay, so I don't know if you can see the chat in the chat room, Joe.
Oh, I have to do that. Yeah.
Yeah, you can monitor. You can see those if you
Okay.
if you can. If not, I'll just put it on the screen for you, so that way make it easy for you. There she goes.
Yeah, help the sister out.
Can you see that?
So there was a Fed in South Saturday. Let me see. What was in South Saturday?
Right. So you guys know y'all
Oh,
talking.
there was a band concert in South.
Right.
I'm sure. Well, that's the whole thing about Carnival season, especially as it grows from this point on. From this week on forward, it's 2 and 3 events, 3 or 4 or 5 events a day. You start to bounce from one to the other. So
Absolutely.
it's so many new ones too. It's a lot to keep up with.
Shout out to Letitia Bob. She says she's enjoying the vibe. Of course, she loved that you incorporate all of the aspects of the culture. Boom.
Yes, I like my pan. I got stick fighting next week, which I can't wait to see, even though I'm afraid somebody's going to get their head cracked, but I want to see it.
I tell you what, guys, make sure you share the link, man. We want people to come into the conversation here because Joe has a lot of information we're going to be talking about here live, of course. But of course, those of you who are just joining us, we're talking about TNT's Carnival. This is the first time we're doing this here on the SE Spotlight podcast. And of course, guys, just in case you're wondering, if you just joined this conversation, Joe is in Trinidad and Tobago. I am in Colanta because this is not Atlanta.
Not Atlanta right now.
It's Colanta. Not too bad this week, but last week it was freezing, including the weekend as well. So it's not good, and I'm yet to make my way down to Trinidad and Tobago.
I have vague memories of that kind of life, but it's so distant. I don't recall so much anymore.
Are you saying that you never here for winter anymore?
I give my family Thanksgiving is the only time. That's the last time I can guarantee that I will be there. And then, I'll see you in the spring.
You done turn island girl.
Hey, listen, I was born and raised in Chicago. I gave Brooklyn a good 15. Oh, I've paid my winter dues. We good. I need the sunshine now. Yes.
Joe and I done switched up.
Exactly. You got on 2 sweaters. And I had to put a shirt on for this interview. I tell you.
I got you. All right. So Carnival is a full swing right now. Of course, about 3 weeks out. And people are getting ready for, of course, all of the big fets and Soca Monarch. And I think there's no Soca Monarch this year, correct?
There's no Soca Monarch, has not returned. So far, Trinidad and Tobago doesn't have a Soca Monarch, which is interesting because the 2 of the major songs, as soon as I heard them, Soca Monarch was the first competition that I thought about. Like, I wanted to hear those songs or see those songs performed in competition. So I think some younger guys are kind of missing out on that. I don't know if that's something the government or somebody needs to take over that, but that's up for discussion. If Soca Monarch should come back, how it should come back, and who should own it. So let's hope they try to restore it for 2025 if it hasn't lost its fervor.
Yeah, because a lot of people, I'm pretty sure, is looking forward to the Soca Monarch, which is a big event for every carnival, as a matter of fact.
And you from Grenada, so you got one of the best Soca Monarchs. I love Grenada Soca Monarch.
Shout out to the Spice Islanders, man. Of course,
Man, that is a vibe.
Let me tell you, my last Soca Monarch was the first one in about 19 years, and that was in 2018. So I'm due for another carnival, another Caribbean carnival, so to speak.
Yes. I need to get you on the road this year.
Please do. Please do. All right. So
right now it's Pan is mostly the vibe right now. We got semis coming up this weekend. I don't know if and you can actually go online. A lot of the Pan yards were streaming live on YouTube actually last night. So small and medium bands had their competition, and that final list has come out. So yeah, it's all about paying for the next 2 weekends.
Absolutely, absolutely. All right, so someone is trying to call here.
Okay,
I'm trying to,
talk to some person.
I'm trying to get it here. Let's go. Come on. Um, for some reason, the caller keeps cutting off. There we go. All right, so the person who was trying to call us, just go ahead and give us a call back. You might want to just do the audio call, not the video call. For some reason, the video seems to not working right now. So if you want to call and just do the audio call directly. All right.
Nice. Okay.
So what are the artists saying about this Soca Monarch situation?
Um. Well, there's probably more backyard conversation about it than open conversation. Really,
Right.
to tell the truth, a lot of people have forgotten about it.
Mm.
Like when you bring up the conversation, I'd hear that quite often. Like, I forgot all about Soca Monarch. Oh yeah, I'm not even thinking about it. Don't miss it. That kind of thing. So that's unfortunate for me because I like Soca Monarch and I think it's a good platform. Like for the younger artists, definitely coming up.
So right about
So
now, so primarily everything that's happening down there is just the regular events, except the Soca Monarch.
for the entire season, yeah, pretty much the events. The big fets are back. A few fets or events have kind of combined and come together because the the initial crowd response was very well, but then ticket sales kind of slowed down, and people are looking at not really taking a loss for that event. So things that were doubled up on the same nights, some promoters are now coming together to see how they can combine and both survive.
Absolutely. Once again, shout out to the folks in the chat room. Shout out to Sarah Lee. Shout out to Letitia. Shout out to Gabrielle Bernard. Of course, they're chiming in slowly, but make sure you guys share the link with somebody because your girl Joe Wheeler is talking to yours truly here live on this very special Ezzy Spotlight podcast. We're talking about Trinidad and Tobago's Carnival, guys. Those of you who are just joining us. And yes, I am in Atlanta, and I would love to be in the Caribbean right now where Joe Wheeler is. She's getting all of the sunshine down there, all of the nice tropical conditions.
Yeah, random rain showers, but a little coolish at night, but nothing like you're suffering with.
Why do you love the
Just
island
gotta
so
keep
much,
getting it
Joe?
enough.
Why do you love the island so much, Joe?
How can you ask that? Why not? Excuse me. What?
What is there not to love, right?
Excuse me.
Bless you. I think you you're muted, Joe. You're muted.
I went the opposite way. There we go.
There you go.
What is there not to love? The sweet sounds of the steel pan, beautiful moderate temperatures,
Mhm.
kind people, delicious food. It's worth it.
I
Even
don't
outside the carnival, it's a beautiful place to be.
I don't think I've seen or heard any music from Marshall this year.
So, oh, you haven't heard? Marsha Montano is taking the year off to study. Apparently, did you know you could get a degree in carnival studies? Because had I known that, I would have been in that school like 10 years ago.
I bet you would.
I mean, I think I could probably graduate right now. So anyway, he's taking the year off to concentrate on getting his master's in carnival studies.
Oh
So of
wow.
course, people don't necessarily believe him because right about now was when he would drop that hot hit and mash up all the other songs.
Right.
So some people are still hoping that he drops a little something. But so far, nope.
Oh wow. That's
He is
interesting.
not been seen. He's focused on something else. So nothing else has been put on the Monday to take the place of Marshall Monday right now. So it's just an open day again.
Oh,
He is not billed to be on any events.
Sarah Lee is she's on point. She got it all. She says Marshall is doing one event.
Okay, Sarah.
Yeah, there it is. So he's doing one event is make his contribution for the Carnival 2024. So he's all
It
this
sounds good on Saturday.
yeah.
Thanks, Sarah.
There you go.
Why don't you call Sarah? It's all
Call us. Let me put the telephone number on the screen for you guys. You can call or WhatsApp. I know someone was trying to call earlier, and for some reason the phone line keeps cutting off. But if you do, just keep trying. You just never know.
Yeah, I still show it as unconfirmed, so she may have an update that I don't have that he has been confirmed.
Right.
Which I guess that's Marshall. If you're gonna see him, you're gonna come to this one spot and get it in. So
This is the one time for the year, right?
yeah. if that's so.
Absolutely. All right. So what's next, Joe? So people are getting ready to travel on to Trinidad and Tobago. It's always good for people to come on down from, of course, North America, from Europe, and the Carnival in the Caribbean now is a big thing. Like I said, I've been to Grenada's Carnival almost 6 years ago. I had the best time in my life. I mean, I didn't get drunk until that time. I got really drunk that time, so I know what it feels like. And Carnival, of course, Trinidad Carnival is the biggest carnival in the world.
I agree.
There's also a large amount of celebrities from here in the US that comes down for Carnival as well, which means that the culture, the taste for the culture is big.
I think so. I would agree. And I think we're also in a time where a lot of people are recognizing and honoring their roots and culture. So as you see, more people in the entertainment industry are coming out with their Trini roots or Caribbean roots, as we so say. So more people, I think, are being proud to showcase that and share it along with their friends and families. Then you got random people like me who just kind of fall in and discover it, and we want to share it with everybody.
You're definitely a Caribbean Carnival ambassador right now.
I am. I'm going to own that title. I am. I was just having a conversation that a lot of people I don't think realize that there are over 100 carnival themed events every year, all over the world. Trinidad and Tobago is the mother of all carnivals, so it starts the season, and everything that happens here trickles down. The biggest songs, the most beautiful costumes, whatever the gossip is, whatever it is, trickles down throughout the other islands and the other locations where Caribbean people live. But you got options. You got options that you can get a carnival vibe almost easily once a month anywhere in the world right now, which is amazing. Because when I started in this, almost 20 years ago, it was still a lot of events, but they weren't as well known and they were smaller attended, more locally attended. But now, especially since post-COVID, people are traveling and journaling. And hey, I want to go to Jamaica Carnival this year. Oh, I've never been to St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Or look, Amsterdam has a soca weekend. I like Amsterdam. I've never been to Amsterdam. I like soca. We got soca in Japan. We got soca in Egypt. I mean, of course, Uber Soca Cruise. It's 2 or 3 cruises right now. So we definitely have a lot of options to share the community and the culture with people all the time and all over the world.
I think this is a good time to ask you this question because again, you're looking at this carnival situation from a wide spectrum. Of course, you're from the media standpoint. Now you're an ambassador, and you've connected with a lot of different people in this carnival music business. Here in the US, there's always a huge movement to try to get soca music as a main genre, right?
Mm-hmm.
What do you think it hasn't made it that far as yet?
I think there are a couple of things that come into play. Predominantly, one being seasonal. That seasonal effect. If you want your genre or our genre to be considered amongst the best, which technically it is in the skill of music and energy it is, but it has to be released all year long. It has to be celebrated all year long.
Right.
Fortunately here, I used to say the saddest day of my life was Ash Wednesday. I remember the first time I came here and you fall right in and it's just this high level of energy all the time. And then come Ash Wednesday, it's the soca switch. It's like, why is the radio so sad? What happened to the music? Like, I can't hear it anymore.
But I think seasonal soca happens only in certain countries, because right now you get soca music pretty much all year round. It's because there's so many different carnival taking place almost every month of the year. You have a carnival from a different country, for example. I think personally the problem is outside of Trinidad and Tobago and some of the other islands, maybe a handful of artists from the other islands, they don't market the music good enough.
Okay,
because
that's
I think
a viable option.
Because I think based on what you're saying here, because music is being released on a regular basis, because like I said, there's a carnival almost every month. The reason why I believe you said that is because you only hear the music a certain time of the year.
It depends on where you are. Like living in New York is how I learned all of it, because New York plays it all the time and they play all the islands.
Right.
But if you're in Trinidad, you're going to hear more Trinidadian artists, unless the few soca artists that make it big. Grenada, you're going to hear more Grenadian artists, except for the few, bigger artists that come from the islands.
Right.
So it's still segmented like that. And then outside of your season, like even here, outside of the season, it's like, I'm tired of hearing that. Once Carnival is done, like, okay, enough of that. Let's get back to the other stuff.
Right.
Like the soca switch works on both ends. At the end of Christmas, it's okay. Like now we can start playing soca, and it's not featured as. I mean, hip hop doesn't have a season, reggae doesn't have a season, pop doesn't have a season. It's just constantly dropping, and the theme of the music can, it's not all dropping bumpers and drinking rum. There are a lot of different things. It's, you got love song socas and gospel soca and all kind of things. So it's how I guess that goes to you marketing. How do we push it?
Do you think that this can also be another contributing factor with the fact that a lot of the soca music is the fast one, the high energy type ones, and to make the comparison with Afrobeats, for example, Afrobeats is a good type of genre where you can you're not really shaking your bam bam, so to speak, right? You're not really wrong. You're not really winding up on somebody in the streets or in the club, whatever the case is. Do you think this is something that might be contributing to the slow progress in that area?
I don't, because I mean, power soca is just one piece of a larger puzzle. You got calypso, you got groovy soca, you got other things. So it's not just all power soca. Power soca has its time in a moment. It's a gradual, build, but I mean, groovy soca can play all year long. Calypso can play all year long.
Joe,
Hand can play all year long.
Joe, I got a joke for you.
Okay.
Look at this. After all these years, I know you. I never knew you were not Trini. Yeah.
Actually, that happens.
That's a good one.
That happens quite often.
Shout outs to Rollin, shout outs to Stacy.
No, I'm just
checking in right now. And of course, guys, if you're just joining us, welcome to the Ezzy Spotlight special. We're talking about Trinidad and Tobago's Carnival 2024. And Joe, I think I have a call on the phone line. Welcome to the Spotlight. Who is this? Hello?
Hello?
Yes.
Hello.
Hi. Who is it?
Hi.
This is Tish.
Tish. Hi, Tish.
Tish, the Trini from New York.
Tish, the Trini from New York. Welcome.
Hi, how are you? Hello, Joe. Good to see and hear you.
Hey, Tish, how are you? Thank you for joining us tonight. Now, this is a Fat Master on the phone right here, Ezzy. So,
okay.
It's a professional carnivalian.
All right, Tish, what you got for us?
Well, first of all, we love what you're doing. I'm here with a first-time carnival goer this year, all the way from Nigeria.
Okay,
well, he's very excited.
Round of applause.
Yes. We just want to say, I want to ask Joe something because it's something I feel passionately about.
Okay.
I feel as if there is a lot that we can enjoy in the carnival season before the actual week of carnival. So leading up to carnival, I feel as if people could get little sneak peeks of what it could be like. And the reason I say that is because living abroad, one year I decided I'm going to go home for a weekend to fete.
Mm-hmm.
And I did fetes. I did, a fete and pan. And it was worth the trip. So I want to know, how you all feel about other people doing it. If for some reason they can't come carnival week, or maybe they can't get, an entire week off.
Right.
How do you all feel about people coming down during the season? Because, some of the biggest fetes are not during the week of carnival.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the biggest pan events, it's not the week before carnival.
I totally agree. I say that all the time, Tish, too. And I thank you for bringing that up, because I'm actually on a mission to encourage people. Carnival is a season. Again, I say this all the time to people because they really think, especially if you're not of the culture, Carnival is Monday and Tuesday mass on the road. but it's 6 to 8 weeks, maybe 10 weeks that leads up to that so that you can have that experience on the road. And everything that's happening now, even we were saying it last night at the, we were at the Carnival Village. It's like you're almost missing the good stuff right now because the build is the vibe. You know what I mean, Ezzy? So like now, right. So like when you come to Carnival, you're getting the finale of everything. But right now is the crust and the action of it and the unfolding of Carnival, which is what I love. And it's also, here's a insider secret I'm gonna give you here because I'm encouraging people to do this next year. Come 2-3 weeks before Carnival. It's a third of the price. It's a better experience, a more authentic experience. And you still get, and you get all the elements. You get the Fete, you get Pan, like Tish said. You can go to Kings and Queens. You can go to Calypso tents. You can do all of the elements and have probably a better time because it's not so much of the rush and the pressure of trying to squeeze everything in that last 5 days. But I always suggest people come. The first 3 weeks of the year, the first 6 weeks of the year, depending on when Carnival falls, is the excellent time to visit Trinidad and Tobago Carnival and get a taste for it before you decide to blow your life savings on playing mass next year.
Tish, did Joe answer your question?
Yeah, beautifully said. Beautifully said. Because when I looked at the calendar, I saw that there was the big Saints all-inclusive on Saturday. Then I saw the rotation of the Panyards last night, and the vibes I saw, I kept thinking Saturday, Sunday, Monday.
Yes.
And that would have been new life born into me for these 3 days in this cold snow I'm facing in New York.
Exactly. You could have got a little pickup, a little pep up, like, all right, I can make it another couple weeks.
So Tish, I got a question for you because you're in New York right now. I'm in Atlanta. Are you going to go to Trinidad for Carnival this year?
I think you know the answer to that.
A professional, I tell you, a professional.
Well, Tish, you're gonna have to make a stop in Atlanta and pick me up, okay?
And you know what? My cousins are there. I can fit you all in the suitcase. Will do.
Thank you very much, ma'am.
Thank you, guys, and continue doing a good job. Lovely listening.
Thank you. Have a good night. Thank you. But yeah, at the beginning of the year, everything is not. Carnival is so much more. Trinidad and Tobago is so much more than Carnival, and Carnival is so much more than Mass and Fete. Yes, I definitely recommend any year. January, first 2 weeks of February, it's a vibes you'll never forget.
Absolutely, absolutely. I think we get another caller. Once again, welcome to Ezzy Spotlight Live podcast alongside Ms. Joe Willer. Who's this? Where you calling from?
This is Lorna Shelton back in Charleston, South Carolina.
All right, Lorna from South Carolina. How are you?
I am wonderful.
What you got for us today? Tell us.
Well, I'm reaching out. You know, I see all these email chatter that Trinidad Carnival is getting too expensive. And yeah, and I'm just wondering if Joe has any take on that. And then the second thing is to share. You know, we have a carnival in Charleston, South Carolina,
right?
And wanting to know if you guys have any advice as to how we can build our carnival and how we can get even some Trinities to support our carnival in Charleston, South Carolina, June 15th.
Okay, Joe.
Which question first? First of all, we got to start promoting that carnival. Like I say, there are over 100. We want to put shine and light on everybody. And Charleston is an easy drive from Atlanta, so we can definitely try to put a posse together and come support that.
And Joe, let me add to that, to Lorna. So Joe and I are working on a project right now. And this live, this is the very first of many to come. We may be able to bring a lot more light to some of the carnivals, like for example the Charleston Carnival, and I think there's one in Colombia as well, and then there are other small carnivals in Orlando and other places that needs the recognition. So not just New York, not just the Toronto, not just the Notting Hill, the Miami. You know what I'm saying? There are a lot of other carnival that needs the exposure. So Joe and I will be continuing to have a dialogue behind the scenes, and of course, you know, we're probably going to be making this a regular thing here where we can talk about carnival and invite people like you, Lorna, to come on and add your 2 cents so that way we can bring light to the things that you guys are doing down there in Charleston, for example.
That would be so awesome. I appreciate that, and I appreciate Joe. She knows that.
Absolutely.
And say the date again while we got you on here. You said June 15th?
So it's gonna be June 13th through the 15th.
Okay.
So the big day is on the 15th, but we actually have something that's unique to us. So the first Thursday, our carnival is the weekend, and we start on the Thursday. And on that Thursday, we actually have an educational event along with our opening reception, where we choose a different country and spotlight that country, educate people on that country. Because as you can hear from my accent, I'm Jamaican.
Right.
But Carnival is for the whole Caribbean. But we have to keep educating people that every island we mentioned is not in Jamaica. You tell people you're talking about St. Lucia, and they ask you, where in Jamaica is that? And so it's our mission, and it's my mission to bring attention and to educate people that we are together. We have differences and we have similarities, but we are own independent nation. And so, celebrating all the Caribbean is important to me. Just like I also promote that there is French Caribbean, Spanish Caribbean, Dutch Caribbean, along with English Caribbean.
Absolutely, Lorna. I support that what you're saying. And I think we're probably gonna connect with you as well, as we continue to make progress with this conversation, this carnival conversation here live on SE Spotlight Podcast. But also, before you leave, just hold on tight, because we're gonna be talking about some of those high prizes that you saw.
Yeah.
We're gonna discuss that a little bit further, a little bit later on in the conversation as well.
All right, I'll be listening.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. God bless.
Appreciate you. Joe, so you see what's happening here. I think there's a good quest for this conversation, because we go to the parties, we go to the clubs, we hear everything about Carnival and the music and the wave, but who's talking about the important ingredients, the things that we're talking about right now, the things that matters most, the things that affect people who wants to go there and have a good time, but they just can't, for whatever the reason, you know what I'm saying? So
Right.
I tell you what, we're gonna take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to continue the conversation here live on the SE Spotlight Podcast. It's a very special. We're talking about TNT's Carnival 2024 here live with yours truly, SE and Joe Willer. Keep it locked. We'll be right back.
All new episodes of Goombay Kids on RTV. Sit down with the whole family as the Goombay Kids take you on a fun island adventure. Learn about the culture of the Bahamas and discover ancient mythical creatures that come alive in this entertaining and educational all-Bahamian kids show.
No matter who does what in this town, you always see the good in them.
Lady Mars Bosch is here.
These bottles are going to go down to 16 ounces.
But it's about what is our potential?
Right.
And our potential, we can take it up 2 notches.
You don't come across women who feel threatened by you.
That's their problem.
Showcasing the hidden gems and more. SE Spotlight. Very informative and entertaining.
SE Spotlight offers affordable advertisement packages. Contact us today to learn more about this excellent opportunity to promote your business. Visit our website at esespotlight.com or call 404-594-ESE.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to the SE Spotlight Podcast. This is a very special show. We're talking about TNT's Carnival alongside my good friend, Joe Willer. She's here, and we're talking about Carnival 2024. some of the things that are happening down there. But some of you guys who have concerns and questions, you can always chime in as well. You can call us up at 404 910-2191. That's 404-910-2191. If you are international, you can hit us up on the WhatsApp. Don't do the video, just do the audio calls, okay? And Joe, I think we already have a caller standing by right now. Caller, are you there?
Hi, good night.
Hi.
Hi.
Where are you calling from? What's your name?
I'm Sarah Lee. Hi, Joe.
Hi.
Oh, Sarah, you did call. How are you? Thank you for correcting my Marshall faux pas.
We got to give her a round of applause because she's been chiming in on the chat the whole time.
She's rocking with us.
She's rocking with us.
I just wanted to chime in on the part where I see that a lot of the people that tuned in and called in or commented so far were saying that, mass in Trinidad is so expensive right now. And that is true, but there is an avenue to play with smaller bands. And smaller bands, they're a fraction of the price, and you basically get the same experience on the road, if not a better experience, because when you play with a smaller band, there are not as many people in the band. So you're not playing with 800 plus people.
Right.
You're probably playing with 100 people. And those 200 people over the course of the 2 days, you kind of build a bond with them, and it's like almost playing mass with your own friends, your own crew. So for any masqueraders that are interested in playing mass for the first time, I suggest that they do a smaller band. If playing mass alone, definitely do a smaller band and choose wisely on the small band that you're playing with. But you can get a frontline costume for the fraction of a course. You can get a frontline costume in a small band for a backline price in a big band, like Tribe or Yuma. So, that is one way that you can definitely cut costs and experience Trinidad at a fraction of the cost.
That's a good idea, Sarah Lee. Thanks for giving us a call and giving us a 411 on that. I can safely say, Joe, before you respond, and we're gonna keep Sarah Lee on the phone line just so if she wants to chime in on this as well. Atlanta, and for those of you who are watching us right now, tomorrow, as a matter of fact, I'm gonna have the president of the Atlanta Carnival, because guess what, guys? Carnival in Atlanta has been divided for so many years, and finally, officially, in 2024, which is Memorial Weekend here in Atlanta, they're going to be having one carnival. So we're back to one carnival here in Atlanta, and I will have the president of the Carnival Association here in the studio tomorrow talking to me about that. But however, what I've seen here, Joe and Sarah Lee, is the fact that people like to be a part of the bigger bands because that's where they get the big excitement. There's the bands that have the monies to bring on the big artists on the trucks and all of the stuff. And though it makes sense to take part in the smaller bands, which I think makes a lot of sense because, again, you have your friends, you get your family members. It's a more intimate crowd. You build new relationships rather than being in a band with hundreds and hundreds of people. But for some reason, Caribbeans love the fire. They love the heat. They love where they're getting that whole energy from, which is bigger bands. Joe?
Sarah Lee has some good points, and I definitely agree with her, because what happens for a lot of people, especially first-timers, is understanding the price of what Carnival ends up costing you in the end. So a lot of people who have never played mass, but here, I should play with this band, or this is the best band, or this is the biggest experience, it's almost like, trying to get into the VIP section at the club on your general admission ticket. Like, yeah, you can probably get in and mingle with the VIP, but you may not have that VIP experience because it may have been more difficult for you. You paid a lot more money for it, and you don't necessarily understand what comes along with it and what's going on. So I would definitely suggest a smaller band for a first timer, because it can be a waste of a lot of money. You've paid all of this money to play with this band. You're not really sure how to work out the costumes because you didn't pay for the extra makeup and the fixings. And the process is so overwhelming. Mass can be overwhelming, right? Because its energy is so high. So if you don't understand what's going on, you're not really sure what's happening, you're just like out there flailing.
Gotcha.
So a smaller band helps you build up to you got to kind of graduate sometimes. So a mid-sized band, a smaller band, you can understand the experience better, and then maybe after a year or two, jump into the bigger band. That helps you financially and energy-wise, so you can kind of, get to what Carnival is. But now on the other end, a lot of people who play mass all the time, regular players, they're opting for the smaller and medium-sized bands because they don't want all that fluff anymore. They just want to have a good time on the road.
Right.
So they don't need all the pomp and circumstance that comes along with a big band. They just want to go vibes. And I think that's kind of the angle that Sarah Lee is coming from. It's all, and that's what it is. It's all about the vibe.
But Sarah Lee has something else to say. Go ahead, Sarah.
Not only, I mean, Joe, that is on point. It really is. But I'd like to add to that point. First time masqueraders that are coming in, I don't think that they understand how much Trinidad Carnival is, because I think we're the only carnival that does 2 days on the road, and our 2 days on the road is not just like a here to there like in Barbados and crop over. We are on the road on a Monday. We're on the road from 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. and you go home and you soak those feet in Epsom salt and you are back on the road for 6:30 in your full costume, and you are going until 8:30, 9 o'clock on a Tuesday night, and you are walking the whole of Port of Spain. And it is a lot, and it can be overwhelming. And I think with the smaller bands, especially for me, because it's my first time owning a section in a small band. And one of the things that I look at, because I'm targeting international masqueraders this year, because I'm a family type of person, and I look at taking care of my masqueraders, and I want to know like where they are and how they're feeling, and you get that sense of community. So when you're overwhelmed on your road and you're playing with a smaller band, people are looking for you.
Very true.
By the way, so be like, where are you? Where's my little white friend from Toronto? Where's my friend from Chicago?
Right.
So you're going to be missed, and with crime and stuff,
that's very true.
Lost in a big band than it is small band, because the costumes are overwhelming. The costumes are a lot. Don't play in front line if you're playing for the first time. And especially if you're coming, even if it's you on a crew or a crew of girls or something, still adding alcohol to the mix, you're adding, you're gonna lose some of your responsibility along the way. So it's good to have that smaller community that is going to look out for you.
That's what's up. I
like that. Well said.
I like that. Hey, Sarah, you say you're the owner of a section in a band?
Yes.
Okay, so I tell you what, I did put the information in the chat room, and we're gonna put it on the screen for you, because we want folks who's coming on to Trinidad and Tobago, if they're looking for a smaller band to do what you just said, which I think is a great idea.
Really is.
We can send them over to you. So just put it in the chat room, and I'll put it on the screen for you.
Okay, thank you so much. I'll do that now.
No, we got you covered. We're gonna make a movement here with this conversation, Joe. Thank you, Sarah.
Okay, thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Sarah, you owe me 2 bags. No, I'm just kidding.
Joe, you see
beers. No, I'm just
Joe, you see what's happening here. There's a this conversation, because I mean, when we talk about Carnival, we talk about soca, we talk about just DJs playing the music and people on stage performing. But a lot of times you don't get those conversations like we're having here right now, which is pretty much an impromptu conversation. We didn't really plan all the details. We just decided to come on here and just talk about Carnival. And this is the beginning. So this is great, right? But let's dive into what Lana said earlier. And I think Sarah Lee touched a little bit about that as well when it comes to the cost effects of Carnival, especially for people like us who are traveling to the Caribbean for Carnival, especially in this case in Trinidad and Tobago, but also for the folks who actually are local. How does the cost affects them?
And that's a good point too, because what I've noticed this year is all of the prices are set at and quoted in USD. So that means that I'm in Trinidad and Tobago going to a locally produced fete, but it's being priced at US dollars.
That's
so what about the local community? Exactly. Are you considering a local community? So what's happening this year is Trinidad and Tobago is, in my opinion, suffering from the effects of a form of price gouging. And I'm calling it gouging just because it's so drastic in the amount of everything. And it's all over. Like, it started with the airlines, with the airfares. You know, usually if Carnival ends in February, you know, March, April, May, you start checking for your flights and you got a decent flight. As Carnival ended last year, flights started at $1,000. That's never been heard of.
Right.
So you're talking about I'm buying a flight 9 months out and I still got to start at $1,000 round trip.
So pretty much everyone is pretty much doing this price increase as a result of the festivities, because again, and it's really expensive for anyone. It doesn't matter whether you're local or you're international. If you're traveling any place, one of the things you want to do is to be in a situation where you can minimize some of the expenses, right? So, for example, if I'm traveling to the Caribbean, if my airline is expensive, I would hope that my hotel fees will be more reasonable. I'm not going to say cheap, but I'll say more reasonable.
Right, some kind of balance.
Yeah, and vice versa. But at the same time, based on what I'm hearing from you right now, you're talking about the airlines are expensive, airline tickets are expensive.
Tickets are expensive. Hotels greatly jumped their rates this year.
Right.
And I can say that from like greatly jumped their rates this year. So for a week, say you're coming Wednesday to Wednesday, February 7th through the 14th, the average price is $5,000 for a hotel room. $3,400. People are reselling their. So many people are starting to back out of Carnival because once you start adding everything on, it's a lot of money. You're talking $5,000 to $7,000 depending on if you play mass, which band you're playing with, and which fets you so choose. And you ain't even ate a sandwich yet.
That's a yearly savings. That's a yearly minimum saving for a lot of average people.
It's a lot, right? There's a lot into that. Yeah, a lot of the private residences, I feel like when they saw what the hotels are getting away with, they changed their rates. And they skyrocketed. I know for a fact several people who had agreements with houses or housing, those people came back and was like, hey, I could get so much more. I need you to either up your rate or I'm going to cancel your booking and reservation.
Okay. All right. So
mass is at its ultimate high. Like, you know, we were talking about these big bands, $1,000 to play mass for a costume that pieces made. You may not even have all those pieces on Monday night, let alone Tuesday. I mean, everything is just fets are $200 and $300 US. A fet, $200 US.
You know, it's funny you said that because you know I had a problem. Like I said, when I went to Grenada for Carnival in 2018, it was my first Carnival there in like almost 20 years, and my biggest problem was all of the events, which they were charging in US dollars. And I didn't even know if I was still in New York or Brooklyn or here in Atlanta or I was in Grenada, for example. I mean, I'm thinking I'm going to a party of one of those festivals or one of those events, and I'm thinking I'm spending EC dollars because, of course, you know, having to come from here and having to go to the Caribbean, you know, 2 for 1 or 2.5 for 1 in the EC, that would be great. But at the same time, when you're spending US dollars for everything,
yeah,
I think this is ridiculous.
Yeah. Like I don't know if people are trying to make up. Are we still trying to make COVID money back? Like we still trying to make up for 2 years of debt and put it on the back of the people? If things have just increased so much because of inflation or whatever have you, but when it trickles down to the regular person that's really just trying to come enjoy an event, support a culture, you're pricing people out.
Absolutely.
And it affects the local economy too, because okay, so now those small vendors, the street vendors, the people who make food, who's going to support them? Because you don't support them all year round. They make a grip of money during the carnival season. Some people make enough money for carnival season to last their entire year. But now if people can't afford to come, or if they get here, they can't afford to do anything. Who's really hurting?
This is a valid point. I think this makes a big difference here when you can actually support everybody rather than the promoters getting all of the monies because you come into the event.
Yeah, and I think a lot of it does it boils down to being greedy too. It becomes down to greed because okay, I'm paying in US dollars, but don't you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, I can afford it, but that doesn't mean I don't work hard too. It doesn't mean I just have money to blow because I'm paying in a different currency. I still got to go to work every day. I still got to balance my budget.
Exactly.
take advantage of me just because I'm paying with the foreign currency, or to squeeze that currency as much as you can because it's here. Again, it hurts the people. And a lot of people now are saying, and which is true, I could do 2 carnivals for the price of Trinidad's carnival. And
Exactly.
you can.
Exactly. This is
Like, I'm sorry.
No, you go ahead.
I just want to say, for example, the event Soca in Egypt. There's a privately curated Soca experience happening in Egypt in December. Even with the addition of flights from JFK, that experience is only $3,800, and your flight to Egypt is included. As opposed to I'm paying $5,000 just to stay somewhere.
Right.
I could do St. Vincent and Jamaica, or Grenada and Jamaica, or Grenada and Barbados. You could still do both of those back to back for almost the same amount of money you're spending for one carnival. It's the best carnival, but at some point,
based on what I'm seeing, Joe, I think this is a Caribbean issue of carnival. It's not just Trinidad and Tobago, because in my opinion, I think Grenada Carnival is doing the very same thing as well, where the Airbnbs, of course, the hotels in Grenada are already very expensive. They don't have the regular chain hotels there, so all of these hotels in Grenada is already 5-star or 5-diamond hotels for the most part. They're very expensive. Coming from the price that I'm paying from Atlanta, for example, to go to Grenada in comparison to someone traveling from Miami or New York, is a big difference as well. So I think the airline tickets, the hotels, you're right. It's
so what do you think it is? What's happening? If you say it's happening,
I think, like you said it best, it's greed. If you keep you can charge. People already spending all the monies. Let's spread the money around to support the economy. So that way, if I'm coming to the Caribbean, I'm not spending all of my money coming to one festival or one event, because I gotta buy food, I gotta buy drinks. No one is cooking. I'm not going to the islands to cook any food. Like, I want to buy food in the streets. I want to get the real stuff.
Right. I want to eat all down.
So if we can support the local vendors as well, I think this is a great idea. So I think if there's, I don't know how they can regulate that, or if they can, but I think they need to really go back and revisit the fact that back in the day, or maybe in the early 2000s, or whatever time it was, when you would charge local prices for the things, and we know the cost of materials are expensive now because everything is up. We take that into consideration, but however, I think we got to kind of regulate what people pay, so that way we can entice more visitors, because you're hurting the economy and not maximizing how many people can come in, rather than less people coming in but spending so much more money. And I think
or have just a better variety, even like, okay, yeah, you got your all-inclusive fancy smancy Richie Poo festivals or events, but I guess you got to balance it out with cooler fets, or fets that aren't expensive, or your free programs.
Right.
I don't know, but expecting everybody to pay top notch for a fet that may or may not even feature artists. You got to think about, am I getting the quality? I paid $200 to be in this fet because it's the name fet. But did I get my money's worth? Did I pay $200 for a corn soup and a payload? Like, what? Like, is that what I had to still leave here and get doubles? What are you talking about? What am I paying for? Just to say I was in a place? That might be some people's experience. You might want that. I came here to jam.
So we have someone here. Stacy says Stacy's a travel agent, that she says that she can get the best prices. Okay, Stacy, if you can give us a quick idea right now, what's the cost of airline ticket and hotel from Joe, you say from New York to Trinidad?
Right now it's $1,500.
All right, Stacy, if you can
right now it's $1,500.
Stacy, if you can beat that, let us know. And maybe we can get some.
If there are seats available. So then this is how they're going to get away with it, Ezzy, because they started out with the prices being ridiculously high, and people complained about them. Right. But guess what? Those flights are sold out. You think you can get out of Trinidad on the 14th or the 15th, Ash Wednesday or not? It's extremely difficult. There might be a seat. It might be $2,000.
Yeah.
Or I just helped somebody get a ticket 2 days ago, and they're going from Wednesday to 7th, the Wednesday before Carnival. And they had to push their return out to Friday or Saturday because the next following Wednesday and Thursday were out, and they paid almost $1,500.
Right.
But I'm saying pre-pandemic, that flight expensively would have been $800. That would have been an expensive flight. Now you're telling me 15 is the average?
Wow. Stacy, make your website link shorter. There's too much information here. Just put your website so people can actually see if they can get a flight, for example.
Well, now one of the things, and I don't know, maybe this is something, Stacy, if we can keep in touch, or we might want to team up on. But one of the things that I've tried to do as a travel agent is that my host agency, depending on what agreements we have with airlines, we can hold group blocks of seats that can allow you to pay on it over time.
Let's talk about that. So let's talk about it some more, Joe, because you offer that service as well, where you offer packages actually.
I support several concierge groups that offer packages.
Okay.
For Trinidad and Tobago Carnival. Other carnivals, yes, I do offer packages. But for Trinidad and Tobago, I just kind of support those some of the carnival concierge services, and they package everything together. Like some are ad hoc, you pick and choose what you want. Some are completely all inclusive, from hotels to air transportation, all your pets. So you don't have to think about what to do. Some people know which events they want, and they can pick and choose and create their own package. But either way, they still got to go through the same hotel chains with the crazy rates.
Wow. I don't know what to say about this at this point, but guys, you have some options. Maybe Joe is going to continue to work behind the scenes to kind of see if he can leverage, but at the same time, like you said, Joe, you're between a rock and a hard place. When the prices are so high, there are some people complaining about the fees, especially the airline tickets. But however, the airline tickets are sold out for the most part, so it's really a catch-22 on this one.
Yeah, and again, it trickles down. If Trinidad gets away with all of these high prices, then yeah, everybody else is like, we got to raise our prices. This is what the going rate is now. But it's something I want you to consider. Trinidad and Tobago, as the mother of all carnivals, is probably the only carnival that has never actually advertised. You've never seen a come to Trinidad for Carnival, yet they still get 2+ million visitors every year annually for probably 20 years running.
Right.
So consider it of like the New York or the Caribbean. New York doesn't care what the rest of the U.S. is doing. We're in our own bubble. It may be that same effect here. You might not come, you might not afford these prices, but we jamming still. Come, don't come, whatever. Right. You know, like they may not even see the effect of that because it doesn't directly affect them, but it directly affects them. You know what I mean? Like it's a trickle down effect. It's not an immediate effect. Because we still jamming. But then when you look at the economy and who made money and who didn't make money, might be a problem.
Gotcha. All right. Well, I think, is there anything else we need to touch on today, Joe, that we didn't talk about?
No. You know, I can talk about Carnival for hours. So
I know you can. I know you can.
Carnival for hours. Yeah, this is the big fat weekend coming up. So action in the place.
Once again, guys, if you're just joining us, I'm gonna put the phone number on the screen. If you want to just chime in right quick, I think we should give at least 1 or 2 more people to give us a call just in case they got a question, a comment, whatever. And if you don't want to do that, you can also join us in the chat room as well. I am monitoring the chat room here on the stream. And once again, guys, also this is the very first very special segment here. We're talking about TNT's Carnival. We're talking about everything Carnival. We're talking about the prices, the bands, and how you can benefit most. Sarah Lee said it earlier, where you can actually she recommended that you get into a smaller band so you can maximize your experience in comparison to the money you're going to be spending, because you can get a lot more. You can have a lot more fun for a lot less, not a little bit less, but a lot less, right?
Same thing. Take Trisha's suggestion. Come a week or 2 before Carnival.
Yes,
might be a better vibe. So you can still be a part of the action and not have to mortgage your house.
There you go.
You don't have to eat bread and cheese for 2 weeks because you want to jump up in a mask. You got different options here. And again, there are over 100 all over the world. So get out, try a few different things. And it's never too late to start paying for next year's Carnival. So if you really want to do it 2025, start packing it away now.
I wonder if traveling in between the islands are the same.
What do you mean?
from island, if you're coming from a different island, like, let's say you're going from St. Vincent or Barbados to Trinidad and Tobago, airline tickets is just as expensive.
It's more than it should be. Yes,
Oh
it's more than it should be.
All right. Okay. All right. So
But
Joe,
they have that cruise ship. There's a cruise ship that comes from Barbados. So you fly into Barbados and cruise to Trinidad and stay on the cruise, stay on the boat.
oh, that would be that's a better deal.
That was an option. Yeah.
We might have to do that, Joe.
It was a bit. I'm trying to charter a flight. Let's just get the plane and we can move how we want. And once I get us there, we good. Let's just charter a plane.
All right, so all my friends with planes right now, if you get a private jet, whatever the case is, we want one with a lot of seats. Okay, we don't want a small private jet. We want a jet with 200 plus.
That's right.
Let's make it happen.
We got Carnival work for you. Well, Carnival to Carnival to Carnival, a different kind of pilot schedule. We got you.
There you go. All right, Joe. Let me see who is in the chat room here.
You should manifest that. I like how that sounds, Ezzy. Let's manifest that.
Let's
get a Carnival plane.
Let's I'm gonna have to hit up some of my friends who they may know friends who got bigger planes.
Plane.
I'm gonna have to make a couple of phone calls and make it happen. Sarah Lee says this is a great season, 5,000 TT dollars. This is what she says here. I can do a great season, 5,000. Okay, is that reasonable, Joe?
5,000 TT dollars, which is a little less than 1,000 US. This is
Oh yeah. Okay. Well, that's not bad.
Well, not bad.
Does that include airline tickets, Sarah?
No, that's mass.
This is just mass only.
Yeah.
Okay, so she says.
I believe the first section.
She also says, "Yeah, I don't have to fly in to pay a hotel."
Oh, she's saying that's what she's spending as the low. But she didn't have to fly in. She didn't have to pay for hotels.
Right.
We could cook.
But let me ask you, Joe, because I've never been to Trinidad and Tobago. Is 1,000 TT dollars good? 5,000 TT dollars good for Carnival?
For mass, that's just mass.
So is that a good price? Is it?
That's a median price. Yes.
Oh wow.
Because mass is far more than that now.
Okay, we got another call on the phone line. Welcome to Ezzy Spotlight Podcast alongside Joe. Who is this? Where are you calling from?
I can tell you that.
It's Sarah Lee again.
Hey, Sarah.
It's not just mass. I can do a full Carnival season on 5,000 TT dollars.
Yeah, because you didn't travel.
Yeah, because I don't have to travel.
Right.
So if you all do that cruise ship thing, which I think is an excellent idea. I like the cruise ship idea more than the plane.
Right, you can stay on you can stay on there, right?
Yeah, you're right by the Hyatt. You're right in the middle of everything.
Yeah, you're right in the middle of everything.
If you do that, my season, because I'm a mom, I have 4 kids, and I work, my husband works, but we love Carnival. So my budget for Carnival is 5,000 TT, and let me just give you a quick rundown of what I've done so far. I do all the free events. Pavement line is a big thing. Joe, you know that.
It's free.
So we do the pavement line. We do all of the free sets that are in Soundforge. The $100 Marshall event that's going to be on Saturday night. It's $100 to go. It's Soundforge. It's a 6-hour show. You do the Carnival Village. You do the Marsh Gras. You do the panoramas. I pay $350 TT for my panorama, all inclusive package. That's food and drinks and entrance. I play Juve. That is about $500 to $600. I play mass. My backline costume in my section is $2,300 TT, and that covers both days. You get Monday wear in the package and your full costume. And I can still hit like army fets, and it have smaller fets that are just as good. Like Sacred Heart has a fet, Mokarapo Boys and New Songs. These are primary schools, well, elementary schools for you guys, I guess. Mm-hmm. They have events. There are smaller fets, and there are other things that you can market. So I think when you're traveling to Trinidad, it doesn't have to be the soca brainwash and the experience and the fashion with the saints and the inclusives and the Fatima. It doesn't have to be that. If you know people that can navigate the smaller events, and they're just as good.
Really?
The events are just as good.
But part of that you have to understand too is most of those smaller events happen before the majority of people arrive for Carnival. So for that last week of Carnival, it's big money events all the time. So that's back to come a couple weeks in advance.
No,
So you kind of have to know somebody on the ground, or know, like myself, or know the lay of the land to find these smaller events, or to be willing to do them. But again, as a traveler, you got to consider transportation. You got to consider, it's a few other elements that make that add up. That can start to add up.
There's someone in the chat room. Gabrielle is agreeing with Sarah Lee here as well, with that conversation she just said. But Joe, you have to do, but you have to do the conversion for me, Joe. What is equivalent to the price that Sarah just mentioned? Was it $2,300 TT dollars?
That's about 340, 350 US. Less than 350 US.
So that's not bad at all. This is pretty good. Like,
right. Go ahead.
Sorry. There are fets that happen, smaller fets that happen the week before, the week leading up to. Like the same night, the week leading up to is Army Fest. Army Fest is a huge event. It's huge. And you get big artists. And is the original, to me, is what Trinidad Carnival used to be. So like the roses, it has that culture of long time fetting, which you hardly get with these all-inclusive things.
Right.
But I know New Song have their own fat closer up. There are actually smaller fats that lead up to, but Joe, you're very right. They're not marketed well enough. And now coming into mass, the way I'm coming into it and owning a section, I'm seeing a market for being able to offer a better experience for less money, because I believe you can have a great time on that's my motto for now. Like, you can enjoy Carnival for like $5,000-$6,000 $50. That's like $1,000-$1,200 US.
So Sarah, for the folks who are listening to us right now, whether they're local or the international, and they're coming into Trinidad and Tobago, since you're offering such good packages, which I think is reasonable, where they can have that experience and still save some money in their pockets, how can they connect with you? Because I didn't see the information in the chat.
True, Joe.
Yeah, put it in the chat. I'll put it in the chat after.
So after this thing,
do you have do you have a website, Sarah?
Call it out.
I don't. I don't, because this is my first year getting into the production of mass.
Got you.
And as I'm realizing that.
What's your social media handle? What's your social media?
I will post it in the comments.
Yes, put your Instagram or something on there so that people can actually connect with you as well.
Yeah, I definitely will. But Joe is actually who pulled me into the international market. And thanks so much, because I didn't realize that there was such a gap here.
Right.
I really didn't.
So also, before you go, Sarah, I think this is a good question for you and Joe. So Lana is asking, the smaller fets, do they have artists performing as well?
Yeah, it'll probably just be, a smaller, lower artist level, but they're still great performances. Yeah, like you might not get Marshall, but you might get a B or C grade or newer guys. But yeah.
Gotcha.
Or they might not have a band. It might be DJ tracks. But yeah, or maybe one big artist and another. But yeah, a lot of them have live performances.
Okay.
Yeah, a lot of them do, and you're very right. They perform to the track. I know the fact that I'm supposed to go to on Friday, they have a very big lineup, but all of the artists would not be performing with the live band. But I mean, it's so good.
Awesome. I think we lost her. Is she shit?
Maybe so. It sounded like it dropped.
I think we might have lost her. Okay. All right. Thanks, Sarah Lee. Send us your information so we can actually send some folks your way, man. This is good stuff. Joe, I think this is an incredible conversation. Stacy says she has some deals. So Stacy Deals is on the website. There's the link. Check out Stacy as well. Hopefully Stacy gets some deals, Joe, that can help you out. You can get some fans to come on down and have a good time as well. So there is the stuff on the website. And
actually one of the I have a group that's coming down actually for Army Fed weekend. So that's a good example. Army Fed weekend, but Army Fed is Friday, February 2nd. Carnival is not till the 13th, 4th, 12th, 13th. So you see what I'm saying? You may miss a lot of those other events. By the time you come in for that last week, it's pressure. So it just depends on how you want to. You have options to edit the experience that you want. But if you just kind of fall in and just start picking and choosing, yeah, it could really price you out.
Gotcha.
So I was hoping somebody that was a first timer may call in so we could hear the experience from them. But we should definitely keep that conversation going because
I think so too, Joe.
how that money played out to them is really kind of what's important. How'd that money work out for you? Was it well spent? Did you get your money's worth? That's
Right.
kind of what's more important.
And also, guys, if you're watching us right now, if you love this conversation, this is the first. You want to encourage us, hit us up in the DM, or you can hit me up in the DM after the conversation ends, and just let us know what you thought about this conversation, or what do you think about this conversation, rather. And let us know if you want us to continue with Carnival, so that way we're not just talking about TNT's Carnival, but we talk about Carnival all around the globe, of course, because Joe has, she's really an ambassador of Carnival. Gotta give her an applause again. She's traveled all around the world in Carnival, of course. And Joe and I connected, of course. She did radio. I did radio. That's how we connected many years ago. And now, even if we no longer do radio, we still here connected. Of course, we want to connect with you guys as well. So I think this is a great conversation. I think also it's a conversation that is missing outside of just performances and DJs singing, playing the music. Let's talk about it. How about that?
It's so much to the culture and so many different ways we can support and enjoy it. And sometimes the people who make mass and make Carnival need to know what the people are thinking. So yes, let's continue the conversation so they can get the feedback as well.
Absolutely. For those of you in the chat room, those of you contributed to this conversation, thank you so much, Letitia. Letitia says here as well that Mardi Gras early bird is $1,000 TT, and that's an early bird special. So there's some information. So a lot of people got some information that can be shared amongst the group here. I think this is a great conversation, Joe. And of course, guys, we want to thank you.
Mardi Gras is one of the bands, one of the smaller bands here, yes. And they always have a very reasonable package. I think that's actually how they got popular, is because they were just cutting that cost. This kind of started out with bare minimum, like maybe the costumes weren't as fancy, but again, you came for the vibe.
It's about the energy. It's all about energy. Exactly, the hype. You said it right.
We may not care if the band has Johnny Walker. I might not even drink Johnny Walker. What do I care if it's there? You know what I mean? So you may not need all those bells and whistles, but you can build the experience that you want. But
absolutely,
yes.
All right, Joe. So I think it's time for us to wrap it up.
Next time we can talk music.
There you go. How can the fans follow you and get more information based on all the things that you offer as well?
How can they do that?
Here we go.
I'm building my online profile, but you could always find me at Where's Joe Wheeler.
There you go. It's on the screen.
Joe Wheeler, yes. Somewhere building an event, tearing down an event, bringing people to an event, enjoying some soca music and coconut water. I'm probably there.
There you go. And of course, guys, make sure you follow me at Ezzy Spotlight, everything Ezzy Spotlight. I also do a weekly podcast. It's called the Hidden Gem Series. So if you know someone who has something to offer, they want to be a part of this, log on to ezzyspotlight.com for more details. All right. So just again, go to ezzyspotlight.com for more details. Join me tomorrow, guys. I will be speaking to the president of the Atlanta.
Yes.
The Atlanta Carnival, of course, for many years. Those of you who missed this information before, the flyer is on the social media pages as well. Atlanta had 2 carnivals for many, many years. And officially this year, 2024, that's Memorial Weekend Saturday. That's May 20-something. I don't remember the exact date. Atlanta is back to 1 carnival officially. And people have already hit me up in the DM saying, Ezzy, if this is true, it is more encouraging to come to Atlanta Carnival again.
Oh, it so is. I'm so happy to hear that. And I'll definitely be on tomorrow because I got some questions and some accolades. I'm excited. But that's May 25th.
Absolutely. So yeah, so come on tomorrow, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 7 p.m. Atlantic Time. Those of you in the Caribbean, it'll be 7 p.m. your time. The president of the official Atlanta Carnival, will be inside the studio here with me as we talk about the 1 official carnival again, officially.
Yeah.
Spotlight. So this
carnival don't stop. We could go all year and come back again.
There you go. All right, Joe. Well, I want to thank you so much for your time. Stick around. We're gonna talk after this, but at the same time, I think this is a great start to this special conversation.
Thank you, Ezzy. I appreciate you having me. Hoping I could add some context. And I'll be out here in these carnival streets doing the grimy work for you. So if you need anything, you can always message me. I got you.
We're going to be making it happen. Keep it up to SE Spotlight, guys.
No matter who does what in this town, you always see the good in them.
Lady Mars Bush is here.
These bottles are going to go down to 16 ounces.
But it's about what is our potential.
Right.
And our potential, we can take it up 2 notches.
You don't come across women who feel threatened by you.
That's their problem.
Showcasing the hidden gems and more. SE Spotlight. Very informative and entertaining.
The Real Goddess is available on Amazon. Get your copy today.
Caribbean International Shipping Services is your one-stop shop for shipping to the Caribbean. We offer weekly service from Atlanta to more than 21 countries in the Caribbean, including South and Central America. With agents in Alabama, Mississippi, North Carolina, South Carolina, and Tennessee, rest assured we've got the entire Southeast covered. Our professional staff is always ready to assist with all your international shipping needs. We ship small packages, barrels, appliances, electronics, and commercial cargo. For information, visit our website at caribshipatl.com or call 770-323-1111. We are your international freight connection to the Caribbean and beyond. SE Spotlight offers affordable advertisement packages. Contact us today to learn more about this excellent opportunity to promote your business. Visit our website at sespotlight.com or call 404-594